Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 2023 Land Rover Defender 110 30th Anniversary Edition. And it is the anniversary of the first time that Land Rover USA ever officially imported a Defender into the US, which happened for model year 1993. Now, I'm just going to be upfront about it. The Land Rover Defender is my favorite of all the SUVs that are currently on sale. I absolutely love these things. So today I'm going to review this car. First, we're going to look at the little details that make the 30th anniversary special. Then we're going to measure out the cargo space. We'll have a look at the passenger space, and we'll have a look at some of the features on this particular vehicle. And as always, if some of that sounds interesting and some of it sounds boring, check the description below for timestamps. So let's talk about the 30th Anniversary Edition, and you will notice this car is finished in Fuji White and it has matching white steel wheels. This is an homage to the first Land Rover Defender 110 that Land Rover USA ever officially brought into the country. Of course, they had been producing the Land Rover Defenders for years and years before that, and what was called the Series Land Rovers before that as well. But 1993 was the first year they officially brought one in here. So, as the first edition Land Rover Defender was only limited to 500 units, so this one is too. There will only be 500 of them for the 2023 model year. Since it was an early 2023, I would imagine most of them are sold by now. But if you check around, you may still be able to find one or two remaining. It does have a serialized badge on the back of the car. That's one of the special things about it. But unfortunately, they're not numbered. It's not like this is number 223 out of 500. They all say 1 of 500, which technically is true. This is 1 of 500, but it's not number 1 of 500, which makes that a little bit less special to me. All of the Defender Anniversary Editions do include the cold climate package, the towing package, the off-road package, and the black exterior appearance package, as well as the really cool rubber mud flaps on all four wheels there. I like the look of those on this car. The ladder on the driver's side of the vehicle so that you can climb up on the roof if you want, the integrated side steps, the wheel arch extensions to make the car look a little bit more butch, the roof rack, and the rubber floor mats are all included as well. Now, you could option a Land Rover 110S with most of that equipment and save a few $1,000s as opposed to buying an Anniversary Edition, which is something you might want to consider doing unless you have your heart set on this one. Personally, I could take the Anniversary Edition or leave it. I do really like the way it looks, the Fuji White paint with the white wheels, very nice look, but if I were to get a Defender, I'd probably want an actual color, so your mileage may vary as far as the value of this particular package. All right, now we are going to measure out the cargo space, and for that, we will need our laser-guided measuring tape. The length of the rear cargo area from the back of the cargo area to the bottom of the back seat, 2 feet 8 inches. The width of the cargo opening, 3 feet 2 inches. The width of the cargo area at its widest point on the inside of the cargo area, 4 feet and 3 inches. You will notice right here you've got this fuse box. That does take about 3 to 4 inches out of the cargo area, so it's only about 4 feet right there where the fuse box is. The height of the cargo opening, 2 feet 11 inches, and the height of the interior, not that much different, 3 feet even, and the length of the rear cargo area with the second row seat folded flat, and you will notice that makes a nice flat load floor, 5 feet and 3 inches. And if we look under here, we have some tools for the spare tire. These things, if you have one of these cars and you wonder, what are these dot sticker things doing in here? That's actually to put on the trailer so that the car's blind spot monitoring system can kind of keep an eye on it and figure out where your trailer is for the anti-sway system. This is actually an excellent towing vehicle as well, although maybe not with this 4-cylinder engine. You might want to get a bigger motor. But you do have some nice cargo space under the load floor as well. And of course, the spare tire is mounted in the rear. And I almost forgot, if you need to lift something into the rear cargo area of your Defender, you're going to have to lift it 2 feet and 11 inches. Now, it should be noted that I did use the air suspension controls to lower the car to its access height. If we push this one and raise it up, I'm sure I can get that up to probably 3.5 feet. But these are controls for the air suspension in the rear so that you can lower the car down if you need to load stuff into it. A couple other cool things back here. In Land Rover training, I was a Land Rover salesman a very long time ago. They call these curry hooks because people in the UK, if they want a decent meal, pretty much have to go to an Indian restaurant because English food ain't that great. So we have a curry hook on either side, and we have a beautiful 180 watt household style power outlet right there. So if you need to charge your laptop or plug in a lamp or a blender or something, you can do that in the cargo area of your Land Rover Defender Anniversary Edition. Now we're going to look at the passenger space, and for this I like to use myself. I'm 6'5", so let's see if I can sit behind myself in a Land Rover Defender. All right, so as we can see in the front, good knee room, not touching there, sitting up straight, but I've got plenty of headroom. Defender, just in case you forget what kind of a car you're in. And I can go ahead and sit in the back. Good knee room there, plenty of headroom, plenty of room for me in the 110. You'll also notice we have a separate climate control zone for the back seat and 2 USB-C ports. I am looking forward to looking at a Defender 130 with the 3rd row when those come out. That's going to be a cool car. We've got our little windows back here. Gotta love a Defender, they're just so cool. Now we're going to start talking about the features on this Land Rover Defender 110 Anniversary Edition, and it's kind of a weird mix of high-tech and low-spec. So for example, we have a beautiful Meridian premium sound system, we have wireless Apple CarPlay, we have an integrated factory satellite navigation system. These are all things I really like. But when it comes to the power seats, it's power for the recline, it's power for the lumbar support, and it's manual for the height adjustment and the forwards and backwards adjustment. So that's kind of weird. We do have the smart key system with the push button start and the keyless access, but you have to push the little button to unlock the door as opposed to putting your hand inside and breaking the electrical field. That's a slight annoyance for me. I don't like that in cars. The cabin, in my mind, is very beautifully laid out. There's kind of a lot of negative open spaces that they've used. There's an open space behind the screen. There's an open space underneath the center console. It looks really cool. There's plenty of little cubby holes to store things dead ahead on the dash, and you have a nice center console as well. Wireless charging is included on this particular package. You have dual zone climate control and heated seats and a heated steering wheel. No cooled seats on this one. It is a $75,000 car, so there's certain things that I wish it had. For example, it doesn't have adaptive cruise control. It does have other safety features like lane keeping assist and emergency braking, but just standard regular old cruise control. On the center screen, it's only a partial digital screen with analog gauges, and they're kind of integrated into each other. A full digital screen is available as an option on higher trim level Defenders. Obviously, this car doesn't have it. But with that being said, I do really like the setup because You can change what you're looking at in that center screen, and it's actually a more meaningful change than some companies give you when you have the full screen gauges. You can look at a map, you can look at your trip display. So there's different options there, and I do kind of like the way that it's integrated with the analog gauges. I like that setup. That doesn't bother me. One thing I think that's kind of cool is when you're messing with that system, the buttons on the steering wheel kind of change their function. I don't know if I should call them buttons, the kind of control pad on the steering wheel. It changes what it looks like and shows you the various things that you're doing with the center screen. So that's a nice high-tech touch as well. Land Rover's a weird company because in a lot of ways it's low-tech, right? You have these exposed Allen bolts and exposed bodywork here, which looks good on Defender. That's part of the Defender thing. But Land Rover was also one of the first companies to put fully digital gauges into one of their cars. That was available on the 2010 model Range Rover before most other companies had thought to do it. And again, the wireless Apple CarPlay is something that you don't get in a lot of high-tech Asian cars these days too. We do have a decent amount of charging ports up front. We have 2 USB-C ports, 1 USB-A port, and then a 12-volt power outlet as well. Land Rover does seem to be leaning into the USB-C ports. A lot of car companies are doing that. I still haven't upgraded most of my cables to USB-C to whatever, so I find that to be slightly annoying, but I guess I'm just gonna have to go through buying more cables again. It's not the first time it's happened to me, and I'm pretty sure it won't be the last time. And of course, one of my favorite features in any Land Rover product, any big Land Rover product anyway, is the air suspension, and this car has it. It allows you to adjust the ride height for better off-roading or lower the car down to load cargo or people with limited mobility issues into it. It gives you a little bit of a smoother ride on the road and better handling. I love air suspension. I know that long-term the reliability quotient is not super high on it, but I don't care. If you're gonna spend $75,000 on a car, that's an amazing feature to have. Buy an extended warranty or get rid of it in a couple of years if you don't want to deal with the reliability issues. One other piece of tech that I really like is the parking sensors / surround view camera that are included with this car. It's meant to help you when off-roading so you can avoid rocks and that kind of stuff. And when it senses an obstacle, it will kind of beep at you and give you a little outline of it on the screen. But as with so many things on a Land Rover, the things that make it good off-roading also make it good on-road, because this is a very useful feature in a parking lot. If you're trying to park in a tight space or get around something, you can use that to help you get around whatever obstacle is in your way. Thank you so much for watching my video on this beautiful Land Rover Defender 110 Anniversary Edition. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and if you didn't like the video, subscribe to my channel anyway. I'll make the next one better.